guys, have you ever heard this saying that life will keep repeating the same lessons again and again until you learn to learn what life wants to teach you. So basically, this is about. So suppose like you never wanted to be in a role, okay? You never wanted to be in a role which is like too much in project management or stuffs like that, and you somehow end up being in that role itself because I don't know, like sometimes life just keeps on repeating itself again and again. So that's the thing I'm going through at this point of time right now. So I was always a resource who was always into this analytics field and stuffs like that. And like I was hired initially, like I was manifesting this in my when I was giving my placements. So I always wanted a role on analytics, which is the reason like when I got this role in my college placements, I was so very happy, and I did all the things possible to get a role in analytics. So I kind of gave my everything to get this role in analytics. And not just that, I did a lot of internships when I was in college, even during the time when I was in college. So I was doing all these kinds of new uh, all these new internships which was totally based on analytics. And somehow, because like I did not come from a computer science background, and somehow I wanted to land up in that particular field, which is the reason I which is the reason it was difficult for me to be traditionally in a computer science role. But when you want something extraordinary, you need to give efforts also extraordinary. So that is the reason I started doing this internships. I started giving my time into all those kinds of things. And eventually, as we all know, that when you give your best into something, it life will give you what you are. Life will not give you what you want, but life will give you what you are. So when you want that analytics job, you need to be that vibration of the analytics job. That's how you end up being there, right? So that's what I had done also. Like, for me to manifest that, I had done all the things possible. I used to write, I used to script, I used to do everything possible to get what I want, and that's about it. So okay, so that's the thing. Okay. And somehow, not somehow, I like it was all because of my efforts that I got, like my vibrational efforts to be what I want. I got what I wanted. But what happened was like then I started having a very ill mental diet for almost like when I was assigned to this role, I started having a very ill mental diet that I'm going to lose this place where I'm in. And I started underperforming, like not underperforming, I would say. I was never an underperformer, but some or the other way, whatever I did, that did not satisfy the needs which was there. And eventually they started cutting cost into their company, and somehow like me and one of my friends. So first they removed me from that project and put me into some other project. And eventually what happened was I went into some other project, and that was a very toxic project. And then like I wanted to move out of that project, and somehow I did move out of the project, but I went through a very shitty time to get out of that project. So that has been through a lot. And in the end, when I was in that shitty project, which I was saying about, uh, uh, like I just told you guys, right, that I was assigned to a shitty project, and that's how like I wanted to come out of it and stuff like that. So I did come out of that shitty project, but what happened was uh, I was assigned into a role which was not something like it supported my career aspiration. So anyway, I did I did eventually move out of that project, but it was through a very pathetic phase. And the thing which was assigned to me there, it was some basic clerical job, which is what I didn't enjoy, but it was more into project management and stuffs like that. Now I got reassigned into some other place, which is again into project management. But I had to take up this role because I had no options at that point of time. Just to save my job, I had to take up any role which was there. Now it came up with its own challenge. So basically, like, I always prayed for a good team and stuff like that. I got a good team, but then what happened? Like, somebody resigned from some other department, and I had to move into that role for that person's replacement. And now I feel like there are almost like I am handling one line of business which is having almost like 60 projects into it, and I do not have any prior experience on project management or stuff like that, because my brain is more into bent into analytical field. And as you know, that something which you are more interested in, you would enjoy doing that work more than anything. So when I used to pray for this job, I used to pray for analytics, but eventually I had to take up this project management role, which because of the period I was going through when I was into the toxic project. And then they put some people on bench because of their budget problem and because of the toxicity itself. So it was a big thing. Now I'm handling an LOB, and this also comes up with a big challenge. But the main challenge is that there's no one to actually coach you or train you to be what is needed in this. So right now I do not have that mental block that even for the time being I will not do this job because I am not interested into being into these field and something like that. So I'm not revolting in that ways, at least not in oral ways or anything like that. I also don't have the mental block at this point of time right now that I won't be doing this project management role. But some or the other way, when I don't get the support I need, I sometimes, and what happens is that when you are the POC for different projects, different people would be messaging you at any point of time, and if you don't know how to say no, first of all, that becomes difficult. So I know how to say no, so somehow I am able to manage that amount of stress. But still, it's not like equal to everything, because what happens is that you can even crack your head and do anything, but the work needs to be done. So for the work needs to be done, there's not enough support, there's not people who can actually handhold you and help you to do things. Because if you're not trained to do certain technical jobs, for example, you don't know certain terms, you don't know what this means or what that means, or how critically it can impact someone's billing plan or someone's whatever it is, so you will do mistakes. And it's not just about a mistake, it's about that you don't know certain nuances in this job role because you come out from a different role altogether. So this is what the problem is. I am not able to in some or the other way, I'm causing embarrassment in front of every project manager possible. Today there was a presentation, and this was a delivery unit presentation, and I kind of fucked up the presentation. Not that I wanted to do it consciously and I fucked it up, no, but it's some or the other way, excuse my language, but in some or the other way I did not know a lot of technicalities into it, because I come from an analytics background, and somebody who comes from a if not Python related analytics background, but SQL, Power BI, and Tableau, somebody who coming from that kind of background coming into a core project management role, it becomes very difficult, because first of all, your whole field at this point of time right now, at least in this role, it is changing, which is why it's quite difficult to adapt in that particular role. Second thing is that you just don't know how to address certain things, like you don't know certain terms, you don't know the impact of certain things, which is what fucks things up, okay? And the person who is responsible, who is the delivery unit head, that person keeps growing impatient, that person keeps going and complaining about me, not like in a like it is not something which they are trying to do it deliberately, but in some or the other way, when their expectations are not met, they start questioning, are you reporting to office, when did you come to office, certain things like that. And it causes a lot of embarrassment, because not just are you being blamed by every way possible. So your managers, like for example, somebody who is looking at the admin role, even they are blaming you. Somebody who is a project manager, even that person is blaming you, that kindly assist in this and that, and you are not able to find the information itself. How can you assist them? Then there are people like who is a delivery unit head, who has additional responsibilities over you, and you are kind of reporting indirectly to the delivery unit head also. So these kinds of technicalities keep on coming, and it's really very difficult to actually. So I talked to someone who had referred me for this job, and I said that, how are you managing so much of things on your end? And this person says that, I don't know, I just learned it. And the thing is that I do not sit with the work all day long. I completed it within 7:30 or 7 o'clock, and that's it. So one thing I would say, that don't give up, just go with the phase and stuff like that, and I'm so sure they will not give you any support. You can additionally request, just you can ask you can say that you can be a support for someone else, and someone else can take up this lead role. So as embarrassing it could be, but if I do not have any support, it's really difficult at this point of time right now to assist them with this kind of work. So sometimes you will be put into a certain kind of thing. So, and then he said that project management is such a role that sometimes, if you it's not sometimes, when people come and blame you, you should be moving that blame to them again back. You should not be taking that blame, because when you accept that blame, you will be a person who will always be blamed for everything. So you should not be taking that blame. If somebody throws a ball on you, you send back the ball to them. So that's how it should be. And that's something, it's a really very valuable advice which someone gave me, because I think I'm always someone, I do not want to complain or something like that, but I feel like even with my SP situation, he was blaming me for certain things which was mutual, and I did fight for myself, like I did defend myself, but at the same time I feel like this phase was all about, it's still going on, and I want it to end as soon as possible, but change starts with you. So you need to see it as already done. So you never are blamed for anything. You are that identity who is never blamed for anything. You are that identity who you take charge of your things, and the other person also takes charge of their things. So you need to see things that ways. And I know that sometimes so all these kinds of things, they are trying to build your resilience towards things. They are trying to build your strength towards things, how much you can handle yourself in pressure and things like that. And do not take everything to your mental health, to your physical health, because I know that when you are stressed, it will adversely affect your physical and mental health. And as a woman, I understand these things, and even for a man also it can impact, because obviously we are all human beings. It's not about the gender, it's about being human beings. And so I thought that today I would vent out to my SP about all these things, and then something inside just stopped my mind. And then I felt like, he had told my mother a few weeks back that his company is firing people, and then I felt like, what I am going through is nothing compared to what he might be going through. Like, he also has certain amount of pressure which is in his head, and I know what kind of pressure he's going through at this point of time right now. Like, I do not know what exactly his status is he safe or not, but I always pray for his safety, and I always keep checking his LinkedIn account through incognito, so that I know that he's safe. But even, see, I am seeing the outer thing. Like, he might there might be different challenges in his workplace, which obviously doesn't reflect in his LinkedIn, right? But at the same point of time, like, instead of venting out the whole cribbing story of what is happening in my workplace with me and being the victim of those situation, I today just flipped the role, and I said that, when I compared my situation with yours, it felt like yours is bigger than me, because I've been through this phase wherein somebody is in a risk of losing their job. So I feel like I understand your pain, what you're going through. I mean, these were not my exact words, but somehow I tried to explain this thing to him, that I understand the pain you are going through, and if you need a friend to talk to, I'm always here to listen to anything which you want. Nothing has ever changed, no situation has ever changed what the equation was between us. So I think that was something like, because I have seen my coach complaining about me that you are always trauma dumping your SP, and that's something which I always wanted to work upon, because I do not want to be a burden to someone. Like, I'm not saying it that he told me that I'm a burden or something, but I do not want to be someone who is dependent on some other person for validation or stuff like that. And it's okay to vent out, but if too much venting out, and it's only you venting out, and he doesn't get to vent out to you, it's like there's a problem inside of you, that you think that you have the greatest problems, and you are not ready to share your partner's problem with you. So that's where I felt like, I compared my situation with this, and I said that, I do not want to talk about my problems. Maybe I'll discuss it some other time or something like that, or maybe just I'll process it on my own. You can always tell me things on your own, because I know how it feels to be in the edge of something when certain layoffs are happening in your company, or you're seeing people getting fired. That's a really pathetic situation. So, okay, so that's the thing, and thank you.